Welcome to Branding the Experience, where we discuss ways where we can create environments where employees actually want to come to work and customers want to keep coming back. I'm Ken Bader, your host for Branding the Experience, and my question is, what happens when you have a great experience, but nobody knows about it? How do you tell your unique story? Well, one of my clients, Rob Evans, who founded and owns E3 Image Group, has some tips for you. I'm here with Rob Evans, the owner and CEO of E3 Image Group, and we're going to talk a little bit today about branding. And Rob, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ken.
Yeah, as you can tell, even though I have a lot of respect for this guy, he happens to cheer for the wrong sports teams, but we're going to go beyond that just now. But I'm glad Rob suggested that in our little friendly Blackhawks versus Blues rivalry that we wear our NHL jerseys today. In fact, a number of years ago, I did a video with this particular jersey, and we talked about brand personality and letting your brand out there, because that's what really distinguishes you from other people. So, Rob, and all the work that you do with your clients, how do you help to bring out the brand for other businesses? How do you help them tell their unique story?
Well, I mean, the way you have to do it, first of all, is you have to have them tell you what their pressure points are. I want to know how they started. Everybody's got a unique story and how they decided to get to the point we're at today. They've usually, whether it started from a necessity, whether it started from a, shower moment or whatever. I love to hear the whole story, and hopefully the story's not done. Otherwise, there'd be no use for us to help them with their, continue to tell their story. So we like it when people go and they prove to themselves and prove to us they've got a proof of concept. And it's like, what a great idea. And then it's just that much easier for us to sit down with said company, said client, to envision what they want to do long term. And to me, that's always one of the best and most beneficial ways in which we work every day. I get to hear tons of stories every week from all walks of life, even dumb ones from Chicago. Oh, look, he's laughing. What do you know?
Hey, I'm actually laughing at your joke instead of mine.
That's because I'm funny.
Well, we'll edit that out possibly.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so what is the best story you've heard in recent days or weeks?
The best story I heard was a company. Actually, you've got the paperwork right under you. It's a new company basically called Win Technologies, and I love them. They're basically going after the education field. They, you've got your school loop, your school view, and as a parent, I'm vital on it. I go on there and I can yell at my son every day when his grade drops half a point.
Do you actually do that?
Oh, yeah, every day. My son's listening right now going, yeah, Dad. Anyway, I digress. So the great part is they're building on it. So they've taken what's already there, and they've come up with ways to help with fundraising, help with, adding features like bus routes, direct communication for your days off. Usually you have to call into a phone number. This will allow you for much quicker access. We're all busy, and with our new cell phone laws kicking into effect, it sounds like a great idea while you're driving.
True. Well, one of the things that I know we've talked about at least a few times, which is important, is that E3, as with any marketing communications experts, we could do a lot in terms of driving business to your business, but then your business takes over. It's your responsibility to have a great product, or in the case of service-based companies, to have a great experience. So assuming that a business that you're working with does have a great experience, whether it be a great family restaurant or a bank that actually does what they say they're going to do, what are some of the best ways to drive business to an already positive experience?
Well, consistency is always the key to anything. There's not one answer. I mean, every company, how they're structured, who they're reaching, how they're reaching them. Are you in the retail market? Well, that's a whole different ballgame than if you're a service-based company and you're just, out there going consumer to consumer. Is it business to business? Is it business to consumer? Well, that's going to drive it. Are you an online business? Do you actually have a physical product? So it's figuring out the different avenues in the first place. And that's what we always try to do is, what are you currently doing? Let's analyze that. Let's go see what the competitors are doing. And let's see what we know that they're doing well. How do we blend both sides to come up with a real, legitimate, long-term strategy?
Right, right. And I know we're big here at E3 Image Group in terms of creating an experience and also having the right marketing mix, which you alluded to, in order to engage prospects both before and after the sale. That's where social media becomes so important. What are some of the things that you suggest to clients in terms of engagement, both before and after the sale?
Well, who are you going after? You better know that before you ever get on and start just having fun on your smartphone or your computer. Mm-hmm. We all love to go on Facebook 50 times a day just to see what the rest of the world, basically what our high school classmates that we don't even want to talk to, what are they doing?
I've got one high school classmate that I actually talk to on Facebook. Does that make me a person with very few friends, or
are you asking
me? Maybe I should go on 57 times and find some other classmates. But please continue.
Anyway, so when you're making a strategy online, it's a whole different ballgame than your direct mail or your marketing communication collateral or your phone calls through LinkedIn that you're doing with your sales team. Mm-hmm. When you're doing everything online through Twitter, Facebook, even LinkedIn, Pinterest, or whatever, it's got to be consistent, but it's got to be relevant. Your blogs, and we're big on that too, is you want your blogs to kind of follow in a mode of what you're talking about anyway online. In order to drive traffic, you've got to figure out, first of all, who is your target, mm-hmm. and who are the people that surround that or complement that exact target, and how do you reach out to them? And you better stay consistent. Use the right hashtags. Don't overdo it. Don't overdo self-promoting your company. Find articles and relevant people in the industry and talk about them. We don't just talk about how great E3 is. We already know that, and our clients know it. It's a matter of going out there and referring it and doing the same thing repetitively, mm-hmm. and that's all you can do.
Right, right. Well, one of the other things we've talked about a number of times is and even on this show, Branding the Experience, that there are so many elements that go into building a brand and in enhancing and continuing to build that brand. But if there was one thing, and I know there's many things, but if there was one thing that you would suggest to a client that if you do this and you do this properly, it's at least going to give you a little bit of help, what would that be?
Come up with your vision statement. Write out a 7-word sentence, an entire sentence that tells you what you do and why you do it and who you do it for. Condense that down to 3 to 5 words, actionable words, and make that your engagement.
Your engagement, your tagline, your brand mm-hmm. principle, things of that nature.
Absolutely.
Great advice. Probably it's great advice because I've given that as well.
No.
Well, great minds think alike, even though it's not in hockey. Yeah. But Rob, thanks for joining us today. And I just want to say, go Blackhawks.
Don't be weird. Blues, one nation. Go Cardinals. Right behind.
So what can we learn from that, other than we should all be hockey fans, regardless of what team we cheer for? Well, a couple things. One is consistency, and I talk about that quite a bit. Consistency in your message, consistency in using the proper marketing mix, especially with social media, and consistency in getting your message out to your specific target market. As Rob mentioned, not just simply playing on your phone, but really truly honing in on the people that you want to serve so that they get to know your solution. And the other thing that I took away from my conversation with Rob, which I believe is the most important and reinforces something that I've believed for decades, is a vision statement. Writing down those words of exactly what your business is about and where it's headed can be very, very powerful. Even if you're the only one that knows it and has ever read it or seen it. Now, of course, I encourage, and those of you who have watched this show or seen my articles or my podcast, know that I advocate sharing that with employees, but even if you didn't, there's still value in writing down that vision and understanding exactly who you serve, what your business is, and where you're headed. And that's the foundation that creates the consistency and creates that brand image that helps people like Rob and E3 Image Group to get the best out of your brand and build that image and create a brand width that allows you and your business to be exposed to more of the right business out there. Thank you for spending some time with me today, and here's hoping that your brand is reaching all of the right people. Take care.